Okay, hello everyone. I want to thank for invitation to GameOn because we have like great opportunity to talk about psychological usage of games for depression treatment. I will ask how many psychologists I have here. Okay, one. So do I have any game devs that they want to make a serious game? Okay. So I will divide the presentation in two parts. First part will be dedicated to more theoretical background, and second part will be about the creating process. So yeah, you know who I am, so I don't have to introduce myself. I will start with a question: why games can be useful for psychologists? So. When we want to learn new things, games have some advantages which we can use. For example, clear goals and feedback system with immediate feedback, and also that you can repeat the exercises of behavior many, many times. It helps to learn new stuff, to new things. Also, you know, it's much more pleasant to play a game instead of just using more traditional psychological tools. You are staying, or your client, yeah, there is just one psychologist. So yeah, so you're staying more motivated to learn things, and games basically training cognitive skills. So that's really useful. But there are more reasons as well. Research shows that playing a therapeutic game is much more effective than just waiting in the line for a visit to the doctor idly. Also, you can, as a psychologist, provide the game to many clients at once. They can use it in home alone, and also they can. It's like very easy to produce the report from their performance, which is also useful. And yeah, it's attractive prophylactic tool, much more than, you know, dry flyer about, for example, depression. So where we can use games, especially when we think about, you know, an anxiety and depression. We can train therapeutic techniques, we can build a relationship with a client, we can, you know, use it as a psychoeducational or prophylactic tool, and also we can regulate a little bit emotions. Not all therapeutic techniques are good to translate to game language, I would say, but cognitive behavioral therapy and solution-focused brief therapy are really good in it, and also that therapies are really good with dealing with depression, you know, in general. VR is like ideal tool for training the relaxation exercises, like breathing. For example, maybe I should do some relaxation exercises right now, because, you know, being here at stage is kind of stressful. And as I said before, training cognitive skills. When you suffer from depression, your cognitive skills are dropping, and games can help to, you know, to counteract, to reduce that effect. Building a relationship with a client is especially hard when they are forced to work with a psychologist or therapist. And usually we are talking then about people who are underage, so teenagers and children. Playing a game together with a psychologist is a good and safe space to adapt to new situation, to create a common experience, and also to, you know, it's like the opportunity to therapists to show their support, and also they can observe a little bit their clients. As I said before, games are much more interesting a psychoeducational and prophylactic tool than just, you know, flyers or something else. But it will be different experience for the client, and it will be a different experience, for example, for the families. So games are not like, remedy that you will play a game and after that you don't feel sadness anymore and everything is okay. It doesn't work like that, but it can improve your mood a little bit. Also, it can keep you more motivated to do anything at all. And therapists can use the success that client achieved in games to build up the level of self-efficiency, which is also useful. So we end the theoretical, boring stuff, and we are going to excitement, the whole thing, how you can do the game. That's my team. And last year we released Indygo. Indygo is a narrative adventure game with a point-and-click mechanics, and it tells story. It tells story of a painter, basically, whose name is Thomas, and he locked up himself in his workshop. He suffered from depression, and as a player, you're solving problems. You are answering the letters from his girlfriend Anna, and also you make decisions which lead to 5 different endings. And I want to invite you to watch a trailer, just to give you an impression how game look like. I hope everything will go right. Yeah, okay. There is no sound, but it doesn't matter. You just can look, how gameplay look like arts look, like that workshop look.
Back then, painting was still important to me.
Great.
Now I feel no joy, no satisfaction. I feel nothing at all. Or maybe I'm just ill. I was sure I was going to die. Why do I even need a mirror? Hell, did I tear up that picture? People like me should be utilized. Big bloody artist, having issues with a stupid watercolor.
Yes, so that is how our game look. Many people, when they heard that we made a game about depression, they have like rather reserved reactions, like, who on earth would like to play a game about depression? It's a sad topic. I don't like games which are sad. Games should be fun, shouldn't be? But let me ask you some question. How many people who suffer from depression do you know? If you know at least one, just please raise your hand. Please look around how many hands you can see. And truth is that you know, or you will know somebody who is affected by mood disorders. So I think it's really important for us right now to be aware how we should act, what we should do, how we can support that person, or how we can support ourselves. That's why we decided to make that game. That's why we chose that topic. So first thing we did, we checked what Steam can offer us. So for example, I don't know, Depression Quest, famous one. Do you know that game? Somebody maybe played that game? Anybody? No. That's kind of, famous when you are interested in a topic of depression. So Depression Quest was kind of okay illustration of that process, of that illness, but it wasn't really good game, I have to admit. The Never-Ending Nightmare, you played it. It's too personal. In my opinion, to be understood by everybody. The Cat Lady, maybe? Yeah, Cat Lady is a great game, yeah, but the educational value is not that big. We wanted to make something more psycho-educational. So we knew that we want to make a game which will be fun, like it will be good game, but it will have some education value in it. So we decided that we will create a game which will raise the awareness, game for somebody who live with somebody who suffer from depression, for families, for partner, but also for people who are on the risk spectrum, and also, you know, for society to know more about that problem. Because, so you can say that Indygo is not a therapeutic game, like directly for somebody who suffer. It's not. Even, we have even the warning that if you think you have that problem, you shouldn't play it, because it can affect your mood, and it really can. But you know, when you are suffering and when you are in a treatment process, it's really important, even crucial, for your surroundings to know how they should behave. It's really crucial for your family to know how they should react on you. Because without that, the whole treatment process is much harder. Because, you know, usually you're not living only in the therapist's room. Yeah, you are living in society. So we had like many problems during the production process. Like, you know, every game developer has problems with the creating games. It's always something come up, and you have to react on it somehow. Especially when you are doing something not regular. So the first problem we had is like how to present real-life process in a game language, like in the game medium. And with depression, it's really hard because depression has two major symptoms. One is like sadness and despair, which is like obvious. I hope for everyone, but there is a second one, which is like lack of motivation, lack of energy. People just stop doing stuff. They are not acting, maybe not at all, but they are, you know, they are not acting much. And we have that symptom. We want to show it in the medium, which is about doing stuff, because games are about doing stuff. And it's like, like how to do that? So yeah, we figured out some things that it can, you know, show that problem. Puzzles in Indygo, they are just everyday activities. We wanted to show that for someone who suffers, everyday activity is a quest to complete. It's not, you know, thing that you are doing and you don't think about that. It's really, really hard sometimes to just get up to, I don't know, to choose the radio station even. And the second thing which we wanted to give to our player is like the sense of hope. Like, you are not hopeless, but the help which you can provide is not the big help. It's like some small stuff you can do for someone who suffers. So in Indygo, you are making small decisions which can improve the main character mood. Story. So we have like Thomas, which is like the main character, and we have Anna, which is his partner, and she wants to support him. So yeah, imagine that you are with someone who suffers from depression. First thing you want to do is like support them, help them. I want to do something for you, and you are trying, you know, regular stuff, the stuff you know from your life. You are trying to cheer up that person or whatever, but nothing is working, and you are starting to feel hopeless because you don't know what you should do. Then you are starting to feel frustrated and annoyed with that person, angry with that person, because that person makes you feel bad. And it leads finally to feeling guilty, because you know that you shouldn't feel that way, but you feel that way. and many people who have somebody in family who suffer, they have that kind of experience. And we wanted to, and we put that experience in Anna because we wanted to create some character with whom players could identify with. We also create 5 endings because we wanted to show people that depression can develop in 5 different ways. Not 5, many different ways. Yeah, art. Also, deeper understanding of the problem. You know, it's like you can talk hours about what touch is, but if you are not able to touch, it's really hard to understand, like with everything else, like with sound, etc. And it's the same with mood disorders. So we wanted to create art which will give you like a little sample of that, how people who suffer can feel like. That's why we decided to have a static, monochromatic art style, and yeah, music, which is also powerful. Scientific correctness. So we wanted to make something real, yeah? Something with educational value. So something real, something from life, but you know, life is rather sad and boring in that case. It's like not exciting, and game, you know, the story should be not fun, but you know, interesting. So there is a fantasy and real life. So how to balance it? That was a problem. We had to think a lot how to do that. Also, we need to collect a lot of knowledge about the problem, which is obvious. So if you are thinking about making serious game, you have to collect a lot of data about the problem you wanna talk about, and we need the feedback not only for players, what you like, what you didn't like, but also from the specialists like psychologists, psychiatrists, and for people who were affected by this problem. Other problems. So we had like the regular production process problems, which is survive that process, which is not easy. It's never easy. But we have like extra bonus problems, which is cooperation with publishers. Publishers, usually they are scared by this topic. And even if they are not, they have no idea what they are doing with that game, because it's like it's not a funny game. How to build a narration in media about game like that? It's a specific case. Institutions. I don't know how it's here in Lithuania, but in my country, when you are asking, you can make an experiment if you like. Go to some psychologist and say games and check the reaction. It will be like 2 words: addiction or aggression. It's like all they know about games. Maybe I dramatized it a little bit, but basically it is like that. That was hard. And topic itself is also not easy, and because you can offend somebody can feel touched by your game. You have to be careful. You have to be really careful. And I have to admit that before releasing the game, I couldn't sleep because I was so worried about I didn't notice something which is not good for people who suffer. We wanted to make a game for people who suffer. We wanted to say them, I see you and I won't help you to be seen, but you can't be sure, in the end how people will react. So what was the result? We get 70 points at the Metacritic, which I think is nice rate for a game like that. But it's not the most important part. The most important part is like people react on the game. So we had a lot of comments like, yeah, that's real. It feels real. You didn't try to romanticize the depression, which is also really, really dangerous. And you didn't make it, you know, the boring game. Yeah, it's okay. Also, we had like opinion that yeah, I gave it to my family, to my partner, and after that, I could start talking about that problem with them. But my favorite review starts like that. I played that game for 15 minutes, 20, and I was so frustrated, demotivated. I feel uncomfortable. It was awful. I was like, what that game is doing with me? And I realized that was the point of that game. The developers wanted me to feel like that, and it's brilliant because for a moment I could feel like somebody who is suffering, and now I can really understand this problem. And you know, satisfaction which goes from making games like that, you can't compare it to anything else. So if you're considering to making games, like serious games, like for example Indygo, please do that because you know it's like great experience and journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Aleksandra. We have time for a question or two, if there are any.
Okay.
Any hands up in the air? There, on the left. Leszek, with a question.
I hope it's not hard one. Could be.
Oh, it will be a total curveball. No, the question is actually simple about the development process. So you did discuss, while development of this game, issues with psychologists, but also did you discuss or playtest, so to speak, this game with people who have personal contact with depression or people who suffer from depression?
Totally. It was really, you know, important for us. We had contact with people who lived with someone who suffered and with people who suffered. Yeah, that's why game feel much more real after that feedback.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Are there any other disorders that you'd be interested in tackling with video games?
Yeah, I was thinking about making a game about schizophrenia, but yeah, because schizophrenia is even more stigmatized. Yeah, the stigmatization of people who suffer from schizophrenia is much bigger, but the topic is also more complicated. So maybe one day, yeah.